Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, good. How you doing? Yay.
I'm multitasking. I've been running reports all day long. I'm keeping busy.
Oh, that's good. Well, I added home teacher for my kids to my resume this week. So I have work and then I got the kids. It feels like I have like triple jobs today. But I'm still figuring out this whole Zoom. So I ask for your forgiveness up front in case I don't quite navigate as well as some of the other presenters, but we're going to figure it out. Okay, I'm going to wait like 2 more minutes, see if anybody else logs on, and then we can get started.
Sounds good. And also, I'm just actively listening, so I would not be participating in any questions.
Okay. It's a Friday evening. I would say, folks are probably out and about, but hopefully they're staying in. Yes, they can see you. I said I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes, see if anybody else comes on.
They must not have no listens.
I know, right? No, we're gonna put good vibes in the air. Encouragement during this time. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and hopefully they'll join us and not miss too much of the fun. Okay, so each of these Ignite sessions have homework. So I hope you are keeping up with kind of the homework that they give you, the tasks to do in the afternoons, and making it, worth your time to participate in all these Zooms that are going on. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Hopefully you guys can see my screen. If you can't, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna go and go through the slides. And I wanna make it fun for us. I don't wanna just present slides. I wanna kind of make a game as in what can we do to make this in this virtual reality. So this presentation, of course, was put together before our current circumstances. And having a listing today is probably really hard to market if you're very used to the traditional way of marketing a listing. So we're gonna make it fun in that after we watch it or after we look at some of the slides, they have some videos in this, after you take a look at it, we're gonna see how can we still accomplish this in virtual world and virtual showings and contactless environment, and see if we can be creative with what we can do to come up with some strategies, okay? Does that sound good? Okay. So let's see what we got here. First, my name is Lanisha Stubbs. I am with the team in the KW Inglewood office. Our team is West City Inc. We have about 5 agents that we work with and mentor and do business with West City. And we're growing. We have a couple of new people that I talked to this week that are interested in joining our team. So we work a lot with investors. We're primarily listing-based business. And recently we started working with some more buyers because we have juniors that we want to kind of show the way of how to court a buyer so that you can get them under contract as soon as possible. So we have a nice mix. We've been doing it for 15 years now. We've been with KW for the past 2.5 years, I'd say. And we're looking forward to continue to build our business and work with everybody that we can in the office to help them build their business. So that's just a nutshell of us. For last year, we did some good business last year. But I would say probably with the help of Nicole, our team leader in the office, we took the business that we did all last year and probably did that in the first couple of months this year. So we were on track before Corona to do record-breaking numbers for our team as far as listings and business is concerned. So Corona has put a little bit of a slowdown, but that doesn't mean it has to stop us, right? Okay, so like I said, there's some homework and missions that you want to do each day. Once you are in Ignite, to make it worth your time to participate, you want to be able to apply. It's one thing to come to these Zoom meetings and be involved. It's another thing for you to legitimately implement the tips and tools that you're learning into your business. So hopefully you're spending your afternoon or early mornings being able to do your 10-4s. And I hope everybody's familiar with the 10-4s. They kind of start off each of these sessions with going over them. You want to be adding 10 new contacts to your database. You want to speak with 10 new people in your database. You want to write 10 notes, and you want to preview 10 homes. Okay, so it's helpful. You don't have to show your face, but it's helpful if you kind of, shout out some of the things that you find to be effective. If you have any questions, if you got anything going on in your sphere that you want to share. So, like I said at the beginning, we're going to play a little game to see how we can get this accomplished in this virtual reality that we are now doing business in. So, have you had much success being able to connect and talk with 10 people and add them to your database? Yes, no, yes, no. So if you've been in the business for a while, you probably have a database. And I'm sure there's people in that database that you probably haven't talked to in the past year because you've been busy being busy. And so this is a great time to go to that database that has old friends and old family and call them and check in on them. See how things are going, see how their family is doing, see if they need anything, to be a resource to people. And then this is a great time for social media connects, right? So I think on my social media, or most people's social media, you have a maximum, I think, of 5,000 people. I'm somewhere around 4,000. They say average people are around 2,000 to 3,000 people in your social media, Facebook or Instagram, Twitter. LinkedIn is a great resource for professionals. And you can send them a quick IM, say, hey, I was checking on you, or mention something of their posts. Say, I know you're a nurse. I just want to let you know you're in my prayers. It's a good time to reach out to people that may be expressing the frustrations they're having by being stuck in the house. Or maybe they're in the house, so you can say, hey, it's a good time. I know you got some downtime. Everybody's been busy. It's a good time for us to check on each other and see how things are going and, see how life is. So if you're able to do that, you can kind of slide in before the end of the conversation, say, hey, look, I'm in real estate now if you're new to it. Or you can say, if you've been in real estate for a while, you can say, I'm continuing to do my business. I'm not allowing this to stop the momentum. And that if you have anybody that has housing needs or needs to kind of access that equity that they have in their home, to, give them my call, share my number, let me know if I can help them. Right? So that's like a real easy, comfortable script that you can use so you can do your 10-4s. I got an email, I want to say maybe a week ago, on cards. KW has how are you doing cards. And I think they're like 30 cents each. Maybe you want to get a pack of cards and start sending some written notes to folks just to check on them and see how they're doing. And, the ones that you were able to contact, you can kind of say, hey, it was great talking with you. And in this presentation, they'll actually share some tips on scripts you can use. Oh, and the last one is the preview 10 homes. So this one is where it gets tricky because we're now virtual, right? But the catch is This is about listings. This whole presentation is about listings. So you want to see how other people are doing their virtual open houses, right? So the only way you can see how they're actually pulling this off successfully is to go and preview 10 homes. So go to the open house where people say, oh, you can go to my virtual open house, my virtual tour. Go on them. And so you can see, are they walking around with the camera? Did they get a camera guy just to go into each empty room and do pictures and they put the pictures together? Are they going Facebook Live on the home previews and answering people's questions on the spot? You know, you want to see how they're putting together their virtual open houses. So then you have ideas of how to structure yours. So not only are you doing it for potential homes for potential clients that you can share the home with, you're also doing it to see how you can also take advantage of that virtual way of doing the open house. Okay, so this says to go ahead and do your calls, but we're all grown. We all know how to do our homework. We need to be able to build our database. So I'm gonna trust that you're gonna do what you need to do to talk to your folks outside of this little time that we have together. Okay. Okay, so getting your head in the game. And so traditionally what this means is to kind of get a list out of all the steps and all the things that you need to do to list the property, right? Which I'll share in the text with you. There's a textbooks, a manual that goes along with the training, and they have some good checklists in there. So we'll talk about that. But since we're in this virtual reality that we're doing business in now, staging the property, marketing the property, communicating to sellers, it can't be in person. You can't go door knock, right? So what are some creative ways that maybe we can market and service the listings that we get or that you're trying to get? Any ideas? Okay, so stagers are not really supposed to be doing business right now. So if we need to get the house and to have an images out there of the house being with furniture, there's virtual staging, right? So we need to explore some companies that might allow us to do some virtual staging. Then there's the marketing of the listing, right? So traditionally we would go door knock the neighbors, let them know we're having this mega open house down the street and see if they know anybody that wants to move into the area, or if they themselves want to know the value of their house. And you usually do this face-to-face, right? So you're not able to do that now. So a service that I like to use is called RedX. And what it does, you put in the address of the property that you'll be listing or having an open house for, and you get to get all the phone numbers for all the neighbors. So now you can simply call them and say, hey, I have a listing coming up in your neighborhood. Did you know the following? Did you know the homes are what your home is worth? Do you know values are still high? Do you know anybody that wants to move into the neighborhood? So now you're able to still communicate these things and on the phone or to the neighbors.
And you said that was Red X?
Yes, the color red X. And it's a service that you can get. It's a third-party service, but it's a way for you to get the contact information for all the neighbors that is surrounding the listing that you are either trying to get or hosting an open house for, or if it's your listing, you can get the neighbors' information. And then you just have a simple script of inviting them out to your virtual open house that you're going to have. Or scheduling a private showing for them. And if you were on the phone or if you get the recordings of the videos that was done, Mike Berlin did a great video yesterday on kind of the rules of engagement at this point. And so you can have private showings, but you need to make sure they have shoe covers. You may need to provide masks or gloves. So you schedule them separately, or you do the virtual open house. So there's still some creative ways for us to allow people to still see the property they're buying. I mean, if you're buying a $600,000 or $700,000 home, you're going to want to see the inside of it, you know, regardless of the pictures or the virtual tour that you can get. At some point, you're going to want to enter the property. And so you're not saying everybody come at one time, but you're saying if you're really serious and you put in an offer and we're into negotiation, then yes, you should be able to walk the property. So you can, you know, still have an opportunity to give the serious buyers that chance. Okay. So marketing the listing. Let's see, there are some tips here. If I can get to the right one. In the manual, let me see, hold on one second. Okay, let's see if I can share this one with you. Okay, so marketing the listing. In the manual with the course, it gives you a 14-step marketing plan. So these are just some of the things that we can go through and play the game on your own. Make it fun for yourself. Say, look, if I have to accomplish these 14 marketing steps, how can I do this virtually, right? So pricing a home, you can still go on the MLS and get pricing trends and share data. I can email, if you guys are interested, I can give you my email in the chat, but I can share with you a formatted way. It's like a JPEG. It's a picture that I use that someone else has shared with me on ways to share the current stats in a neighborhood. And it's just a really cute way that's already put together. You can create your own. You can go on Canva. Canva is canva.com. And for free, you can get already formatted, templated pictures that you can share through your social media. You can attach it to your email and send it out, blast it out to your email list. But it's a way for you to say, in this market, and you can put LA, or you can put a zip code. You can say, these many houses have sold. These are how many are on the market. This is the average price point. So you can still share market data as a way to market your listing or market the neighborhood that you are farming.
This is awesome.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're getting it. I'm so glad. There are, instead of having the for sale sign, which you can definitely still put the sign out because people still call. And signs are really good for just people who drive in the neighborhood, who want their family to move into their neighborhood, who knows people that have been trying to relocate. The sign outside is still great marketing. So I would encourage you to do sign, but then there's also, now companies are having little signs that sit next to the big sign that says virtual tours, virtual showings available. And I can send you that one as well. I get their emails a lot. And so you might want to put that next to your big for sale sign because it allows them to know that it's still, if they're still interested in seeing the inside of the house, it's still an option for them. Right? And so only one person's going to get your listing at the end of the day. But you want to market it because you're trying to gain more sellers and more buyers. So if you have a listing, your goal should be to get at least 2 buyers and at least 2 listings from that list, from that listing, current listing that you have. And that can even be still an open house. It doesn't necessarily have to be your listing. It's that you're marketing a listing, right? And so the only way to do that is to talk to neighbors, send postcards or flyers to people in the area, and to do some of these marketing, like the for sale sign, that allows you to still get exposure to people who are looking to move into that area. And you know, they say the unemployment rates are going to be crazy over the next 6 months or so, even to the end of the year. So people still have equity in their homes. So they may need to tap into that equity. So even if you just call and be a resource to the neighbors and say, hey, I don't know if you've been affected by the coronavirus, but I want to let you know property values are still up. And if you have equity that you need to tap into, I'm happy to help you figure that out. Right? Real basic, simple scripts that you can share. Okay. Let's see, what else can we do? So we're going to respond to all buyer inquiries. You want to be timely with that. You don't want to wait a week before you call folks back. You want to call at least by the same business day, if not the next. You want to share your listings through the Keller Williams listing system as well as the MLS. And when you do the MLS, it sends it out to like 500 different websites. So marketing on the MLS is very powerful. You want to market it on your own website. If you have your own business page, like a Facebook page, that's a good way of marketing it. And then if you call Brandon, he'll help you and walk you through how to set up some ads so that you can do some Facebook ads and Instagram ads with the listing. And you got to have that ability to capture the lead, which Command is offering for us. And it's a part of what you already pay for, so you might as well take advantage of it. To capture those leads and put them in Command, that allows you to follow up with it. So if, let's say, you get to host an open house, it's not necessarily yours, but it's a beautiful house in a nice neighborhood, and you put up an ad on Facebook, $5 a day or something like that for your ad, and run it for a week or two. You want to invite people to the virtual open house, but you also want to let them know you have access to other properties in the area. So if it's not this, you can always set them up with other showings as well. So you may just put an ad together with Brandon on Facebook. You start to get buyer inquiries, and then you can set up a virtual tour, and then you already capture their information. So now you can send them emails and get their phone numbers and see if there's other homes in the area they may have an interest in finding out about. Right? All from just hosting an open house. Because see, when you host an open house, you're asking a listing agent, can I market this property? So you're getting their permission to market it. So you might as well go full out. Don't just sit on the front porch with a chair. You're going to put an ad together so you can capture all the buyers that have an interest in moving to this area. And now you have a chance to follow up with those buyers in the upcoming week. Okay, so they got the KW app, their flyers and cards. You can still do just list or just so, but personally, I don't think that's the most effective use of your marketing dollars. I prefer to do marketing that has a call to action. So you're going to say, for example, we have a property that just is under contract that's going to be sold the next week, and we went 85,000 over list. So we're working on marketing cards that says, you know, home sold in your area, 85,000 over list price. Do you know what your home is worth? Contact us to find out, or have a website or phone number for them to call to find out. So you're telling them the values are still up. Call us to find out the value of your home. So you're going to still market the property because they're going to say, oh, that's the house around the corner. Wow, that went for a lot. Now they might actually call you to say, oh, I want to know how much my home is worth if that home went for that much more. Right? So you want call to action, not just listed, just so, wanted to let you know. No, you want them to take action because they're so impressed at the stat that you're sharing. Okay, another good one for that one. We had 30 offers on it. So you can say buyers are still buying in this area in record numbers. 30 offers on this last listing, and share the listing. You know, we have buyers for your home as well. More than enough qualified buyers for your home as well. Any of those are little taglines to get them to call you or email you to find out what their home is worth and sell their house. Right? Okay, so you have a targeted market. So multifamily is a challenge right now for a lot of people because they're not allowed to do evictions, and some landlords or cities have allowed people to not have to pay their rent for various reasons that they've been impacted by the coronavirus. So it gets hard. So you got to be creative. So you might have a seller of a multifamily that says, I can't hold on to this mortgage if my tenants don't pay their rent. So they need to consider about selling it, right? So maybe you want to pull a list of multifamily and say, I don't know if you're experiencing any challenges with the corona with people paying rent, but I still have buyers that are looking to invest in multifamily. And what you do is you set up something creative, like maybe a reserve where the seller sells, but they also set up a reserve for 3 months of the rent as a part of the purchase price or sale price. So there's all type of creative ways so that the new person doesn't feel like they're taking on tenants that don't pay. Right? You can set up some type of reserve and escrow and negotiate that so that that exchange makes everybody still comfortable. The seller's able to sell, the buyer's able to buy, keep moving forward with the transaction. Let's see. You have Airbnb companies or owners. Airbnb is not renting right now. So if I'm an Airbnber and I have 3 luxury homes sitting about with nobody to rent to, which still has a mortgage, I'm gonna be in trouble after a few months. So maybe you want to start pulling up those Airbnb listings and giving them a call and say, hey, I don't know if you're experiencing any challenges with this Airbnb, but I know buyers in this area. I'd love to be able to share with them that you may have an interest in selling. So those are more creative ways that you can still market a property in an area and get the seller interested in selling and allow you to market it to see what type of offers you're able to get at what price. You get a good offer, they'll let you sell it. You know, you don't have to go that far. Okay, so creating an open house schedule. We talked about virtual open houses. Let me know if you have any questions on how to get that accomplished. But I saw one that was really good. A young guy did one. He did a Facebook Live for it. And at the bottom of the screen, it said, send your inquiries to this email. And then you go, or to this website. And then you go on the website and it has a form you fill out. Name, number, question, interested buyer, interested seller. It was just a real quick 5 questionnaire. So it allowed him to what? Capture everybody that would have attended that open house into his database and give him a chance to call them now and say, oh, you like this house? You want to make an offer? Oh, okay, I got some other properties. Oh, are you pre-qualified with a lender? Now you can ask all your qualifying questions in a more comfortable way as opposed to 50 people in an open house that you're trying to catch. So you got to see the silver lining in these new approaches of doing it virtual. You get to kind of take your time and finesse your way through the buying process or the selling process because you get to talk to people one at a time. It's not a lot of people coming at you all at once. It gives you a chance to master what it is that you're doing and saying to people. Okay, so you want to go for active buyers and investors who are looking for homes in the price range. So if you haven't already, you want to kind of go through your database and see what buyers, investors are they still shopping? Are they motivated? Do they have a strong motivation to still be shopping? And then what is their search criteria? So if you haven't already made those notes in your database, you could do it in the database you do in Command. If you have a third party, if you have an Excel or just a paper tablet, you want to put their name and their buying criteria so that you can send them stuff that meet that criteria on a regular basis. So for my retail buyers, I set them up on drip campaigns through the MLS. So they get listings every Monday and Thursday from me. Excuse me, Monday because they get to see what's going on that week, and then Thursday you get to see what's going on that weekend. Right? And so you just have to connect with them and say, hey, do you see anything you like? I can set up a virtual tour for you. Then you have investors. If you don't have investors, this is a good time for you to rev up your investor list because investors are going to tell you what price point they're shopping at. If it's a fixer, what parts of the city, what price range they need to stay under, their profit margin they want to accomplish, either it's 75, 70% of the after repair value. You want to get those type of criteria down because people are going to defer and they're going to postpone mortgage payments. They did not say forgive mortgage payments. So at some point, the foreclosure market is going to blow up towards the end of the year when we're allowed to leave the house, but people still need to be able to find employment and then still pay back the money that they didn't pay for the past 3 to 6 months. It's hard to do. Some people are experiencing it, will experience a balloon payment. Some will get a loan mod. So, there's different forms that you'll be able to catch up, but some folks won't be able to. And maybe just the best thing for them to do is to start over, start afresh, use the equity to move into something new and start with a brand new payment. So those all cash investors are great to work with because they can come in and close in 7 days and that person can move forward. So these are things that you want to start building during your downtime while the market is kind of adjusting, shifting to the new reality. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over to, yes. I'm gonna go back over to the presentation. Okay, so it's a quick video on how to host an effective open house. And again, this video was put together before our new reality, right? But it gives you 5 strong points that you can still do. But the game is, how can I do this in a virtual reality, right? How can I do this in my non-contact virtual showing type of world that we're in right now? So let's see what we got.
Hi, I'm Chris Suarez, and I'm here to tell you the 5 steps to holding an effective open house. Step 1, strategically select the home you want to hold open. Choose a home that gives you the greatest potential to have buyers and sellers find you. This might be a home that is in a great traffic pattern, whether that be car traffic or people walking by in walkable neighborhoods in your community. Select a home around a local event where neighbors or even out-of-town people might be stopping in. Step 2 of holding an effective open house is advertising and marketing. Marketing begins a week in advance of any open house you might hold open. Begin by posting internet ads a week before. Get a sign in the yard and let neighbors and passerbys know that the home will be open later in the week. Remember to contact both by phone and email any internet leads or phone calls you've received on that listing prior to the open house. Don't forget to make 50 calls around the home prior to the open house and door knock, a radius of about 2 or 3 blocks. Step 3, know your scripts. Know what you're going to say to greet the visitor. Know what questions you're going to ask while they're in the home. One of the greatest first lines you could use is, "Thanks for stopping in to tour my open house. Are you one of the neighbors, or are you out shopping for a home today?" Immediately, you'll know if you're dealing with a potential buyer or a potential seller. Step 4 is keep the right mindset and prepare. Remember, open houses are lead generation activities, so enter with the mindset of a top lead generator. Prepare yourself with comparable properties, market research, at least 2 or 3 other homes that you could potentially show should the opportunity arise. Step 5, always follow up with every lead that comes through that door. Call them, email them, write thank you notes that same day. A simple follow-up script to use directly after an open house goes like this. "Thanks for stopping into my open house this morning. It was great to meet you. I did a little bit of digging in the office after we met and after the open house and found 3 other properties I think really fit your search criteria. I know the home that we saw this morning wasn't quite perfect, but these 3 have some real potential. We could get into them tomorrow at 4 or at 6, which would work better for you." Great, let's meet at my office and we can go from there. My biggest aha when doing open houses is remembering open houses are not a technique to keep current sellers happy. In reality, open houses are great lead generation tools to connect with potential future buyers and sellers. By using effective scripts and systems leading up to the open house and great follow-up techniques after the open house, you'll build a met database of future buyers and sellers. Thanks for watching KW Connect and make it a great day. Sellers happy. I know the home that we saw this goes like this. Thanks for other homes that you could potentially show should houses are lead generation activities. So prepare yourself with comparable properties, market research, generation activities. So enter with the mindset of a top lead generator. Prepare yourself with comparable properties, market research, at least 2 or 3 other homes that you could potentially show should the opportunity arise. Step 5, always follow up with every lead that comes.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of stop at the 5 lists that he gave us so we can see what we can do to be creative with our new environment, right? So if you have a listing, if anybody's on the call right now that has a listing, please share. But if you don't have a listing, you can pull up any zip code that you have always wanted to do business in and call every single one of those agents and say, let me help market the house that you have on the market. If you don't already have it under contract, let me help you market it, right? Because let's pick some of the nicest, biggest, I don't want to say top of the market, but kind of, a really nice house, fairly decent, vacant. We'll look for those on the MLS, right? And you can call, let's just say, for example, my area may be Ladera Heights. Well, the homes in Ladera Heights are pretty nice, right? And a home could be vacant and maybe even already staged because it was staged before the past 3 weeks of all the drama that's been going on. And they don't have it under contract. They may have even done a price reduction at this point because they don't have it under contract. That's the agent that you want to call and say, hey, let me host your open house. Let me help you sell this one. If I can market it, do some virtual tours, do some Facebook ads with you and bring a buyer, is that okay with you? And see if you could get you some really nice virtual open house that you may not have been able to pull off before the past 3 weeks because people are using people in their office, on their team. They may even do their own open house because they want to get the other buyers and sellers in the area. So they'll say, yeah, no, I don't need no help. The house will sell in a week. I don't need the help. Well, that house hasn't sold in a week because nobody's coming to see it, right? So what do? You set up shop in that nice house. You get your handy Facebook, your selfie stick? Get you a nice little selfie stick and do Facebook Live video all through that house. Then you take some nice pictures of the highlights of the property and do some Facebook ads with it. Have a capture page that you set up. So now, are you trying to sell that house? Well, yeah, if you get a buyer, that's great, right? But what you're actually doing is putting yourself as a personal shopper for someone who can't get out and shop in the area of the home they were once able to shop in. You will bring it to their living room, right? So you say, hey, I'm Terrence and I'm the personal shopper for anybody looking for something in Ladera. Call me and I will do a virtual tour. I'll answer any questions you have on the property. I'm happy to go into the property if it's vacant and be able to show this open house for you since you can't leave the house. I will do it for you, right? Isn't that a great creative way to take something that ordinarily you don't have access to? Because these agents, these very high-end agents are not playing around with new agents that, aren't necessarily in their office or on their team. Ordinarily, they would have turned you down to host their open house. Now they're like, shoot, if you can bring a buyer, bring it. I want to get this sold. So now you go in there and you take advantage of not only the opportunity to bring a buyer to this home, the marketing of that in an area that you want to now have as a farm area. Right? So it opens up an opportunity to get in a market center or a market area that you otherwise had challenges getting into. You want to know your script. Like I said, be creative. Now you're somebody's personal shopper. You don't want to go over there? Cool. I'll go over there. The house is vacant. I'll put my shoe booties on. I'll put my mask on and my gloves, and I'll go with my Facebook stick in a vacant house and show you around. Answer your questions on personal tours or Facebook Live tours and post them on my business page. So the showing that you did for one person and address their questions, you now put that interview on your Facebook page, and now you're saying virtual open house. Check out my open house that I did for my client. She asked all the questions she needed and never stepped foot in this house. I'll personal shop for you. Bam. Now you have a whole social media campaign around being somebody's personal house shopper. Yeah. So you got to find the creativeness that you can start to implement. And when you didn't have the opportunity, when it was such a fast turning market that a lot of the seasoned agents really didn't need the help of a newer agents. Well, now they may welcome that help because they don't want to go, they can't go sit at a house and entertain anybody. They got to do something else than just host an open house and get a lot of offers. And if you're old school and traditional, they're not going to think out the box like you are, right? They're going to say, shoot, now I got to put this listing on hold because I can't do showings. No, you don't. I'm going to show you why you don't put it on hold, because you're going to call Terrence the personal shopper, or Devin the personal shopper, who's going to come in and host open house and do all that virtual marketing to help you get the house sold. But what you're really doing is building your own database of buyers in that part of the city. Is that helpful for anybody? You kind of get where we're going at? You got to have the right mindset and just be prepared for when someone says, I'm looking in Culver City for 1.4. I need to move over there because I work at the hospital there, and we've been shopping and we've been being outbid, but we're still qualified and ready to buy. Oh, that is magic words, right? Not a problem. I'm gonna pull up a list. I'm gonna set some virtual appointments up. You don't move. You open your computer and we can chat while you're going through the tour, ask any questions, and I can show you around. Right? Okay, and then you wanna follow up with any lead. Following up with every lead when it's virtual basically just means a capture page. So if they're interested in doing the same thing or having you do the same thing for them, you send them to your capture page. It's a one pager that you want to have that has name, number, email, and then some type of detail, buyer, seller, what part of the city. They can have a little box where they can put a description, where they can say, I'm looking in Culver City at a price point of 1.4. Great. Pre-qualified already, all cash, perfect. You know, then you can sort through the leads. And at the top of the list are the ones that sound like they got it all together and they've been shopping and just been getting outbid. And then the ones that are saying, you know, I'm just kind of looking around, say, cool, I'll put you on a drip campaign. When you see something you like, I'll set you up with a Zoom conference call where me, you, and the lender can talk together. How many times have you tried to set up an appointment with maybe the loan officer and they've been so busy because people have been buying so much in the past several months that they'll say, just give me the number, I'll call when I can. Now you can say, no, we can set up a Zoom call so I can properly introduce you. And you get all three of them on the line. You find out what they're qualified for, how soon they can get everything over to the loan officer, and how soon you guys can start shopping. You can do that in a matter of 10-minute conversation. So you know when you can move forward with them and who needs a little more nurturing before they're ready to go out. Right? So it streamlines the follow-up process when it's virtual, as opposed to having to run around and meet everybody and then go to the open house and then try to talk to 50 people who are coming in the door at the open house. And then there's people that you didn't get to follow up on. And now you have people who have agents who don't know how to work in this environment, that are at homes just on stuck because they don't quite know what to do. Well, those buyers are still qualified. There's still a lot of people that are still qualified to buy. There's a whole ranking of government officials that are not impacted by this because they work for the government. There are people that work for Blue Cross. There are people who work for the grocery stores. There are people who work for Netflix. These people are in industries that are actually booming because of what's going on, that aren't necessarily losing their jobs or in a position like the entertainment industry. They're gonna hurt a little more because they aren't able to go and produce movies right now. That's an industry that probably isn't gonna be calling you. But there's a lot of industries out there that still are shopping. And there's a lot of people that have recently sold their home that have cash, that are able to put down significant down payments and can still move around and get things taken care of, and actually may find a deal from someone who needs to sell fast. So you got to start to look for those less obvious opportunities for you to build business. It's going to take those that, and I hate to say this way, but that are not lazy about it. And I say that as in, you got to push forward and find creative ways to still get things done. When you were so used to it, maybe just coming to you or just a call and you can go meet somebody for lunch, you got to go out your way to still meet with them. If it's by Zoom, if it's by phone, if it's by a virtual tour, so you can still move forward and gain business. And you will see that because you take these unique steps to still build your business, that you will have people flock to you, because there's going to be nobody else who's going to go and give them a tour of the area or the neighborhood or the city that they want to move to, but you're out there. So when they're Googling Ladera, they're going to see my virtual tours on YouTube. So they're going to say, shoot, I want to see this house on such and such street. I can't get over there, but maybe I can call, such and such realtor and she can get me in there. She can show me around. She seems well versed on this part of the city. Let me call her and see what she knows, what's coming up, what's still available. Now you just branded yourself, right? Okay, so now we have a checklist on talking with the seller. Do I have any questions before I keep moving on? And we have a few people on the call. So I want to make sure if you have any questions about what I'm saying, if you find value in it, if there is things that you're trying right now that maybe you have some objections to or trying to figure out how to get that done. Did I go too far? I think I did. Hold on one second. Okay, so here in the, make sure I'm sharing the right page with you. Here in the workbook with the course, they're giving some good communication tips. So these you can kind of go through, and this is a part of what you do to prepare yourself before you start talking to people. So have you ever gone on an interview or you went to talk to a friend and it was something that's like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to say before I say it. What do? You stand in the mirror and act like you talking to them, right? You be like, look, this is how it's going to go. And now you get into it, right? Because you're in the mirror and you're like, this is how I'm going to say it to them. When I see them, this is what I'm going to do. You do the exact same thing in your business. And you do these type of communication tips when you're talking to different people. So if I want to match the voice with someone on the phone, if they're excited, well, shoot, I'm excited too. Let's get excited together. So I'm going to practice my excited tone, right? But if I have somebody who is older, who wants me to go a little slower, make sure I break it down, then you practice saying some things and then saying, are you okay with that? Do you understand what that means for you? You know, let me know if you have any questions. Don't be afraid to stop me. So those are just some of the catchphrases that you want to be comfortable saying, depending on if you're talking to somebody who might be young and excited and you want to say, okay, hold on, I want to make sure you understand this, versus someone who might be older who just need to slow down a bit in your tone. I had a person that, I work with a lot of clients over the years. So I had a client who got very loud with me. My thing is to bring my tone down, because now I'm going to make you match my tone rather than get all excited and upset with you. I'm going to come down to the most calmest tone you've ever heard. So now I'm going to make you match my tone. So, but I did this and I was able to do that because I would practice in the mirror all the time before I would call people. So in between my calls, I would say, okay, I'm about to call her. I know she's home. I know she's out of school. Let me see what I could talk to her about. And it's a young lady. And I'm like, aren't you excited? You get free time now. Now we can go shopping. We can go house shopping when we never had time before, right? That was something I practiced before I called her. So when I called her and I said it, it got her pumped. Like, I didn't even think of it like that. Girl, send me what you got. Now I got time to look at it. Versus someone who was already kind of hesitant or, not quite clear. Say, look, now we have the time, we can go over it. I have a lot more time. I can talk to you. I can show you my screen if you're able to look at a computer, and I can show you what I'm looking at. The opportunity to show them what you're looking at. Don't underestimate the power of a Zoom meeting. Okay, so we want to make sure we're prompt when we meet them or we're calling. You want to never talk down. You want to keep a log of the communication, which I know that you're able to do in Command now. So if you don't know how to do that, I suggest connecting with Brandon and making sure you're able to log on for log on to log your information so that you say, I talk with her, but she still wants to wait a second. Or I talk with her and she needs to connect with a loan officer. Or I talk with him and he's ready to go, except he just needs to get her some information from his new job. Whatever it is, you want to keep a log of where they're at and what were their objections before moving forward. So you can start to one by one address those objections and come back to them. So every time I talk to somebody, they say, well, I was thinking about it, but, I don't know about the market. Well, let me get you some market data. Where are you trying to move to? Well, I don't know about it. I want to see what's going on with my job. So you call back and say, hey, how's the job going? Are everything okay? You're not being affected by Corona, right? So you're using what they use as their objection as a way to re-engage them at the next conversation. So you can get over that hurdle and move forward. Does everybody kind of get that? Of how to kind of use what they as a reason not to go shopping today or not to engage today as a reason to follow up with them. Okay, there's one other video here I want to share with you that has the wow experience. Okay, and so this one is gonna kind of tell you how to make sure your clients are feeling like they're special because they get to work with you, right? So let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Josh Bath, and I'm here to talk to you about creating a wow experience with your clients. Creating that wow experience with your clients starts right from the initial interview. When you're sitting down with them and you're listening to them and you're asking them good questions, that's really what sets you apart from the rest of the agents that just go in there and talk. The mindset should be not, what am I going to ask them next before they've even finished their sentence with you? The mindset should be, what are you saying to me? A couple things that I do to establish a really good wow experience for my clients. I tell them that a photographer is going to contact them. I tell them that a home stager is going to contact them. And after that's done, I follow up with them. And I ask them, so how was your experience with my photographer? Now, I already know that the photographer I've chosen is incredible. And they're going to deliver great service the way I deliver great service. Except I get to use the service they use as an extension for the energy I'm creating with them in that wow experience. Once their home's listed, how I continue on with that wow experience, I just communicate with them almost every other day. And that communication is either by phone, by text, or follow up on an email. The advice I would give you if you're looking for a place to begin, I'd sit down with a notepad, a paper, in a quiet place, and just start writing out naturally in your mind everything that you do from the moment you've sat in their living room to the moment you've gone back to the office and handed the file to your assistant. How are you communicating with them? What are you doing? These are all incredible steps to communicate back to your seller because normally they don't know what's going on. And if you're telling them what you're doing, you're helping them remove some of that fear and building confidence and trust in you, which is exactly what creates that wow experience. For people thinking that they need to do something big and as a result never doing anything at all, go back to small. It's not about being over the top and big. Sometimes wow is just following up with them when you said you were going to follow up with them. Or it could just be as simple as paying attention to some of their needs, like they don't have time to cut the grass. Maybe you might hire someone to cut the grass. That'll blow their mind. And for you, you can hire a local neighborhood kid. That doesn't cost very much. Little things like that, though, go a long way for referral business and creating a customer for life. That wow experience.
Okay. So what do we get from creating the wow experience? Right? It's about going that extra mile. So we have a lot of clients that are older. And so just being able to schedule a trash pickup out of their home means a lot to them because they're overwhelmed with probably how much they've had in their home for the past 30 years. Like you said, cleaning out a yard or cutting grass, that's a big deal for them if they haven't been able to get to that. And that's the reason why they haven't been able to move forward. A lot of people, it's not about the price. It's not even necessarily about the money that they'll make from the property. It's the letting go because they may have grown up in the home, or it is the overwhelmingness of everything that needs to be done to prep the house for sale. So the more you can help them with those details, the more they will tell their friends and family how wonderful it is to work with you, the more they know that they have your support in moving forward and will trust the advice. Being able to have a client that truly trusts you makes a world of difference in the actual transaction because they're not questioning everything you tell them. They're okay with signing things and moving forward because they trust that you're going to have their best interest in mind. So you want to make sure they are comfortable and that you're addressing their concerns and that you're not, they call you on Monday and you don't get back to them on Friday and say, oh, I was busy. What do you want? That's not what we want to do with our client, right? We want to make sure they feel top priority. Say, oh, there's a way that you can go on your phone and it will send them a text even if you're on the phone. You can say, I'll give you a call shortly. I'm busy at the moment, but I'll give you a call as soon as I get an opportunity, so that they still feel like you didn't just ignore their call. You know, it's simple things like that that make the communication with a client so much better. And one of the bigger tips that I can give you is don't wait to the end of the transaction to get their review. And when I say their review, that's their Yelp review, their Zillow review, their Trillia review, their Realtor.com review, their review on your website or your Facebook business page. Don't wait until the end of the transaction. And this is something that I am personally working on in my business because I want to increase the reviews that I get. We are living in a very review-based environment now. A lot of the ways that you wind up at the top of Google or the top of search is because you have a lot of great reviews. People, how many restaurants have you gone to for the first time and you Yelp them before you even think about telling your friends and family we're going to go there? You Yelp and you say, oh my gosh, they had a terrible experience. I don't want to go there. Then you Yelp and you say, oh, look at this. They got 500 reviews and everybody says, try the seafood. So now when you go there, you say, what's this seafood I hear people raving about? You know, it's that type of review-based world that we live in. So I'm personally, like I said, I'm working on doing this more, but there's nothing in any handbook that says you have to wait until the end of a transaction to ask someone, how do they feel? Or do they like working with you? Or, you know, you could start off with the beginning consultation and say, do you feel like you're in a good space? Okay, good. You feel like I gave you a good initial consultation and set you up on the right path? Okay, great. I love your feedback. I'd love for you to share that with everybody, you know, for me and for you, so that they know you're having a good time with your realtor. And you send them a link. They just signed that listing agreement. They're excited to get this house sold and move forward in their life. They're at that excited moment. Send them a list, send them a link to your review. Say, I was so glad we had an amazing conversation today. I want to be able to share it with everybody. Please just say a few words on this review for me. And I want to be able to share how much I enjoy working with you. That's it. They just signed it to get under contract. You found them a buyer. Oh, that moment when they have found a buyer for their property, they are ecstatic because they're like, oh, we're almost done. We're almost there. We got the price we wanted. I can't believe it. Like our listing, I can't believe we got $85,000 over list price. When we initially took that listing, we were like $25,000 under the price that they wanted to sell for. But we said, look, trust us, go lower, get as many people in as we can, or many people eyes paying attention to this listing, and see if we can get you over that amount that you're hoping for. And boy, did we. We had 150 showings. We had 30 offers. Now this was the week before, or 2 weeks before Corona. So it was very active, but we were able to accomplish it and then still get them more than they thought they were going to get for the property. So you want to under-promise and over-deliver. Our under-promise was based off the comps, the price per square foot, what we saw sell fast. That's how we properly advised them to go with the price we listed for. But what we didn't realize, or that we knew, but we wanted to play on, was how many buyers were in that market. So it was so many buyers that we were able to pin them up and then see who was going to go the highest to get the property. Right? So when we came back, we over-delivered. And we'll be closing next week on that, in the middle of Corona. So it's very still doable for you to do transactions. You just got to have a solid plan to move forward. And you got to get that customer experience for them to be wowed about working with you. Okay, so there is a listing presentation in our material here. Let me see if I can go to it really quickly. Let's see. I need to share it with you. Okay, so here are, oh, this is the acronym they have you to be super, right? To offer super service. before we get to the listing, let's look at these. So we want to be sincere, right? We want to have sincerity. We want to be understanding. And this is a time in the world where being understanding and being compassionate for what people are going through is an understatement. The more they can actually feel how genuine you are about helping them through this process, because the only people at this point that are probably going to be trying to list are people that are motivated. That means they have a bigger reason than to sell this house to have to sell the house. And that may be for job reasons. Maybe they need the money out of the house. Maybe they need to downsize and move in with family. Maybe they need to be able to help someone who's living on their own, and they have to now go in to wherever that family member is living and relocate. So it could be all type of reasons. Maybe someone, a family member grew ill and now they have to help them with their affairs to sell things. You hear of people being sick, and not just from corona, but from life, that pass away, and now it has family members that have to figure out the details and what to do with the property and how to address things. So you want to be sensitive to people's needs and what they are trying to accomplish. The predictability, that helps when you know your market. So the more you can help them with not overpricing or being too ambitious or being realistic with things, they'll respect you for that more. To be able to provide the extraordinary and uncommon, this goes into that conversation about creativity we had at the beginning, as far as marketing yourself to be the personal home shopper of people who want to buy in Ladera, personal home shopper for anybody who wants to buy in Baldwin Hills. These are big, beautiful homes that are more than likely they were going to be staged and vacant when they are sold. They have people who are investors who were hoping to flip the property by the time that we're done fixing it up and making it beautiful. Those are the homes that you want to go after to say, let me help you sell these homes, because you can go in and be the virtual personal shopper for the buyers who are buying in that area. So you want to provide that extraordinary service, and then at the same time, get that review. Don't wait till the end. Wait, when you have the best conversation, send them that link. When you sign a contract, send them that link. When you find a buyer, send them that link. And at the very end, say, did I meet all of your demands or your requirements that you needed? Let me get that 5-star service review from you, right? Because we're always looking for those 5 stars. So you want that, and then you want to be responsive. You don't want to wait a week before you call your client back because you don't have any offers yet. You still want to call and say, look, I'm setting this marketing up. I think it's just a matter of time. You want to be realistic that it's just slowed down because everybody can't jump into one house at a time. But, take our time and find the right buyer and talk them through it. Don't just let them think that you fell off and now they got to figure out how to get this house sold on their own. See, the relationship is bigger than one transaction. Because you do right by people, they become your biggest cheerleaders and they'll send you business, and that's how you build a referral-based business. The listing presentation. Let's see. Okay. I guess they're giving tips for us to break into groups, but we can just kind of talk. Does everybody have a listing presentation? Do we have anybody that has done a listing presentation?
Lanisha, I printed out a listing presentation. It's Anita.
Hi, Anita. What'd you say there?
I printed out a listing presentation.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good. Have you been practicing it?
No, I'm embarrassed. No.
Okay.
I actually want to practice it in front of you and Lance.
Okay.
That's in the next few days, okay?
Right, okay. Well, look, set up a Zoom call and then we can tell you, what sounds good, what are some key points and what are some areas for improvement. And I'm happy to do that with anybody on the phone. If you feel like you have a presentation that you haven't exactly given to somebody, you can call me, you can call other senior realtors in the office, you can, call each other to role play. But it's great that you have something to work with as far as the listing presentation. Now, my listing presentation was in hard copy. And the way that I would do it is I would hit the major points. What are we going to do for marketing? So I have this huge marketing plan that I would go over. What do we go? Here are our reviews from our past clients. What are we going to do to get your house sold? I had a page in there where we would discuss other properties that have sold in the area that are similar to theirs. So for the comps. So I had these general, and then it allows us to have those topics of discussion during our meeting. So the listing presentation does not have to spell out every little detail that you're going to do for them. It's more so you want to hit the main points and be able to say, this is how we're going to get a house sold for you for the price you want, right? That's ultimately what they want to know. And so mine was actually a hard copy, and I put in a folder so they can walk away with something. So now we're in this virtual environment, so I had to be creative. So now I mail them a package, so they still have something that they can keep in their hand to say, this is what I got when I'm working with this particular realtor. This is what she's going to be able to do for me. Here are some comparables in the area. But what I had my print guy do for me was to create that in a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, that's cool.
So now I have a PowerPoint to show them in the same way that we're meeting. You've probably been Zooming all week, right? So you've gotten on this Zoom and heard us talk, or heard another realtor in the office talk. You could do the exact same thing. Share your screen in presentation mode and show them, these are the different things that we're going to look at for your house. And then even still, you could go on the MLS and pull out what we call a CMA, which is a comparative marketing analysis. And you could go through the CMA by showing it on their screen. And the parts that they say, oh, I want to see more of that. Oh, I want to see more of that. You can actually show them in real time on the MLS.
That is cool.
Where you can say, look, I'm going to email this copy to you. So now you can send them a PDF form so they have it for their records, or mail it to them. So you have all kind of other ways that you could take advantage of, so you can still have your listing presentation meeting with them so they can see it on your screen. They can receive it through email. You can send them a copy in mail form, depending on the demographics. And I say those different options because, like I said, I work with a lot of seniors and they're not as computer savvy. So getting them to get on the link and download the app is not the easiest thing to do for somebody who may be over 65 years old. Let's just be real. But some of them can open an email and open an attachment. Most of them can open that mail. So say, hey, I'm gonna mail you something today. Let's talk in 3 days and we can go over the details of how to market your house and set the appointment. At this point in your career, your objective is to set the appointment. And so for all the little details that we go through that you may not have down pat, you give yourself a couple days to get organized. And then you go and have the appointment. And you can have the appointment on your own if you feel confident, but you can also reach out to the senior realtors in the office that can help you to participate in that call or participate in that Zoom meeting to make sure you get that contract signed.
You and Lance.
Well, there's me and Lance in the office. There's Heather in the office. There's Juan. There's Mike. There's and we have some new people coming, I think, to the office that have quite a bit of experience. So there's a lot of resources in our office that I'm sure would be happy to kind of help you get your first listing or first buyer, if it just meant a 15 to 20 minute Zoom call to make sure you're saying the right things.
Okay.
Okay, so work on it. Let me know if you need some help with it, but practice makes perfect. So you want to at least give yourself a chance to go over it with yourself, maybe somebody in your house, make them your buyer and say, look, spouse, act like you want to buy a house in Ladera today. I'm going to tell you what to do and make them sit down. It's not like they can't leave the house. They can't run. So you make them sit down and listen to you for 20 minutes to go through your listing presentation.
Will do.
Right? Okay. So at the end, you just want to put it all together, right? So you want to give yourself actionable steps. You want to time block so that you can actually go over your listing presentations and your scripts. You want to talk to agents. You want to get a list of resources. Maybe it's virtual staging you could take advantage of. Maybe it's the setting up the virtual tours with your selfie stick and going to take a picture in front of the house or in the living room, or do a quick Facebook Live about this beautiful house that has a view. And you're in the house, a vacant house that may be furnished, for all of 10 to 15 minutes. But the powerful part is the call to action. You gotta have the call to action or it's not worth the effort. So you gotta have that email or that website or that capture page that you can share with everybody to say, if there's an interest, if there's a way I can help you with your real estate needs, fill out this form. Same thing with the social media. Work with Brandon. He'll help you set up some ads. And the minute somebody clicks on that ad, it should go to your capture page. So now you can IM them, you can call them, you can email them. Now you can reach out in all different forms. Okay, so I think we're now to the homework. So you want to work on your daily 10-4. Everybody's doing good on a daily 10-4? Are we working on those? I know when I started, I probably had like daily 2 or 4. And maybe a couple people made me feel good. I was like, okay, look, I talked to 2 people today. That was wonderful. But no, you got to eventually move up. You want to move up to 5, maybe 7, until you comfortably talking to 10 people. And with social media, 10 can be easily accomplished. I mean, it could just be congratulations on the baby. Let me know if you need some more space. I'm happy to find you and help you move. You know, I'm happy to help you find a 3-bedroom because you're going to need the baby room. People are at home with their kids. I know I have mine. God bless the teachers. So, so maybe it's offering to help them find, oh, thank you. Help them find some more space and, you know, expand where they're living. So that may be an option. So you want to continue to work on your daily 10-4. You want to practice your scripts. Like I said, if you have a listing presentation you want me to take a look at, I'm happy to show you mine. You can give you some ideas. I'm not stingy with my marketing material because I feel like the marketing material, it is what it is. It's bullet points. It's you bring the magic. You know, your expertise, your knowledge, how savvy you are, how much you're willing to help when they may be limited on resources. I have a lady right now who is really like almost putting pennies together at this point to get this purchase done, and anything I can do to help her, or call I can make, or figure it out so we can get this thing closed, I am on board. And so she's more than grateful to work with somebody who's just willing to go the extra mile to help her get what she's trying to get accomplished. That's what it's about. Yeah, I'll definitely send you a copy. So I'm going to put my email address in the box. So if you have questions or you want to reach out, send me an email and I'm happy to address them or you know, or share, right? But at the end of the day, you're the magic. You gotta be creative. You gotta get that selfie stick out. You gotta go do those virtual tours. You gotta call some agents and say, look, I know you got $1 million house in Ladera. Let me help you get it sold. You know, I can come by that beautiful vacant house and do some videos all by myself with nobody else and post them. Have a full conversation as if you're doing your listing presentation in the house by yourself with your selfie stick. And then you post here, you post there, you post to YouTube, you post the Facebook business page, you post live on Instagram. You know, you get your face out there, because so many agents, I can't tell you, I've been through the downturn before in 06 and 08. So many agents are going to fall by the wayside because they don't know what to do when it's something other than what they've been doing to just get business easily. You know, there comes a time in the market where you sneeze and you get business. You don't have to reach that far. You make 2 calls and you got a listing. You don't have to do that much. And those agents start to fall out because they don't know what to do in this when the shift happens. You're going to ride the wave. Because you're going to say, oh, I could do a virtual tour for a house in Beverly Hills that I couldn't get into 3 weeks ago. Now it's sitting on the market with a price reduction. Oh, now the agent will take my call so I can help them market the property. Because at this point, the more marketing, the better when you got a listing that's sitting. So you look for those listings, the pretty listings that are sitting, and get those retail buyers. If you want investors, you look for the investment properties. And you put some ads, you call them and say, hey, you mind I do some Facebook ads for you? Put their house up there, say all cash buyers only, fixer, investor special. Put a Facebook ad, have a capture page. Now you build a database of all cash investors. You're gonna be ready when them pre-foreclosures take off. You're gonna be set. All you gotta do is market to that list you already created of 50 call cash buyers. The minute you get a pre-foreclosure or somebody who's struggling and they're gonna have to tap into that equity of the house to be able to survive, you're gonna say, don't worry, I can get you a buyer in 7 days because I got an all cash list. You already set, right? So use this time to prepare for the shift in the market. And I hope everybody's out there staying well, staying healthy, staying safe. Let me know if there's any questions I can address before we get off the call. Anything else? These are some of the important things we went over if you're following along on my screen. Any aha moments? Okay, well, I thank you for sharing your Friday afternoon with me. Good luck with everything and take care.
Thank you, Lanisha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.